unmute yourself, Huey, because I wanted to let you know it is episode 306 today.
Yes, and I wanted to say something in between before you said anything else. See, that's why I butted in.
306, March the 16th, 2026. Hopefully, everybody had a nice Valentine's Day and had a good time.
What's today's date?
The 16th, no, it was on Saturday. It was on Saturday. The day
Yeah,
the
but you said
news,
March.
oh, did I say it? Okay.
Yeah. So say it
Then
again so the recording will
it
be
was
right.
February. Anyway, hopefully everyone noticed my little note I put in the newsletter on Saturday about Valentine's Day. I thought that was a nice little touch. Anyway, welcome everyone. It of course is episode 306, Tech for Senior, February the 16th, 2026. How's that, Huey? Is that okay?
It's great.
It's excellent. All right. Uh, So we have a great show for you today. Now, just a reminder that those of you who, after our big talk last week about our website, you notice that I've already made some changes. And on our main page, you have Mike's movies. So all his movies that Mike's on there is now available on our main page. Just go there and just click the link, and all the movies will pop up, and you can see what his suggestions are. So well done, Mike. Thank you so much for that. And we look forward to. So on Saturday night, if you're looking for a movie and you can't figure out what it is, pop over there and you've got his whole list. Today, for our Premier Education video, which of course, those of you who had our newsletter on Saturday will have already got this. But for those of you who, I'll put the link in the chat. There's three selections today. I'm talking on your smartwatch and your health. Huey's talking about which one is better, your Google Drive, Dropbox, or OneDrive. He's going to compare those. And also going to talk about, if you're confused, what Google TV is, and I explain all about what Google TV is. So those are all available right now online, and they'll be available after the show as well. We have a busy show today. Huey, your week went well. Did you go out for Valentine's Day, or what did you do for Valentine's Day?
Actually, I did, and I went to a seafood house, and I had some delicious fried clams, and the two other people that were with me had some kind of a mixture of clams and let's see, not clams, but oysters and shrimp, and it was just, and I had a taste of it. It was delicious. So,
Right. And
nice evening in a very busy restaurant, and boy, did they take care of people. It was just amazing.
and that, of course, was on the 14th, which was Saturday, right?
Yep, yep.
Just yeah. So it was all right. And Bill James,
Yeah,
life is good.
life is good. We had a fun weekend. I had a Mardi Gras party on Friday, and so a lot of my friends came over, and we had gumbo and, like I said, that fried alligator and some other traditional delicacies for Mardi Gras.
Is that why Huey's alligator's gone and it's not in the pond anymore?
Oh God, but that's a possibility.
That's a
Just
possibility.
local home. I don't know where we don't have alligators, but under normal circumstances.
All right. Mike Leaman,
As you
are
can
you
see,
thawing?
I
Are you
was
thawing out yet? Are you thawing
as
out
you
yet?
can see, I was crowned king of Grace Haven residence over the weekend. Have my crown on. No, it's actually quite mild here. It's right around freezing. We still have some snow, but I would say we have less snow than Kathleen has in New York City. So not that bad. Maybe spring's not that far away. Maybe the groundhog was right.
Do you ever get venison for dinner at your place?
No, no, we haven't had that yet.
You haven't had
Although
venison.
they are
Wait,
changing the menu this week, so anything's
wait,
possible.
wait till spring comes and your gardeners come around and see that the deer have eaten everything. You'll soon, you might just find venison on the, on the dinner. Murray, how are you doing in Victoria?
Oh, good. It's a nice day again. We've had a few nice sunny days. It's about a little low 40s, I guess, Fahrenheit. And we had roast lamb, which was quite good, although they overcooked it. I had ordered it medium rare, and the first thing the server came to me and said, "We're very sorry, they overcooked it today. There is no medium rare." And
Okay.
then for um, Valentine's Day, we had a high tea in the afternoon with an entertainer. I don't particularly like her type of music, and she's sort of misnamed a bit. She's a very, very large lady, and she calls herself Pixie.
All right, we got to get going here. Let's get on with the tech news of the week.
Welcome to Tech for Senior and our weekly news update. We've got a lot to cover, so let's jump right into the latest in technology.
Good morning, good afternoon. It's Ron Brown with Tech for Senior. This is Tech News of the Week. We're recording this on the 14th of February, Valentine's Day today. Well, happy Valentine's Day for a broadcast on our Monday show, February the 16th. For those of you who are watching the show today, if you want to follow along as we go through the news articles, they are on our Facebook page. I want to just introduce everybody today. Of course, I'm Ron Brown. We have Hewie Poplock from Bradenton, Florida. Hi, Hewie. We have Murray Strome from Victoria, British Columbia, and Mike Leaman from Moncton, New Brunswick. Hewie, what's the first article today?
Okay, it's from Mike.
Okay, so 10 things you should never say to an AI chatbot and 10 that are okay. And this is nothing new, but it's a good reminder. Some things you don't want to say. You don't want to give it your banking information. You don't want to give it personal information. You don't want to give it health information. But there are certain things that are okay to ask. So it's just a good review to go through.
Oh, this is, I had to look twice. This is interesting. In New York, this is a big restaurant. I think it's one of Hell's restaurants there. And it's a table for one. And you now can take your AI chatbot with you to have dinner. And so they're actually putting the table and making the table as a table for one where you can plug it in and set your little device down and have dinner with your chatbot.
That's a little scary.
Yeah, I thought it was cool.
But kind of neat for Valentine's Day.
All right, this is an article on HP's laptop subscription. Is it a great deal? And it's from HP. So now one of the options HP is offering is you can rent a laptop. These are their top of the line laptops. You can simply sign up and pay the monthly fee and you rent it instead of purchasing it. So is this a good deal? Well, not such a good deal. There are a lot of limitations with this, and it ultimately is probably going to cost you more money, but there may be some advantages if you can't afford a $3,000 laptop. So this is a Pixel phone. This is of course the current Pixel phone today is the Pixel 10. This is going to be the 10A, probably about half the price. This is going to use the same processor as the Pixel 9A, and they compared the Pixel 9A to the Pixel 10A. Not a lot of difference. So I guess you can look at it this two ways. You can either say the Pixel 10A is going to be about the same price as the 9, so why just not get the Pixel 10A? Or you might say the 9A is going to be a much better value because it's probably going to be on sale and you get a really good deal on the 9A. Not a lot of difference between the two. This, I think, should get the Device of the Year award. I think this is a really cool device. This is a new device brought out by HP. I think it's around $260 US. What you can do is take old film. If you just bring it down a bit, I want people to be able to see, Hewie. Just yeah, that's perfect. You can take old film strips and run it through this machine, and it automatically creates images. Now you can do this with film strips or slides, 35 millimeter slides, or older large negatives. All work on this, and you just run them through, and it actually automatically captured and corrects the images off the film strips. Now this also works as a display that you can leave in your house, and it sort of shows as a display, or it links into your TV. It has outputs on it and will connect to your TV and then project onto your TV as well. I think this is a really cool product, and it is available now on Amazon.
Microsoft has released the update. You see the number there ending in 5912 as part of its extended security updates program, providing critical security protections for Windows 10 users after official support ended in October 25. This allows businesses and individuals who haven't upgraded yet to continue receiving essentials security fixes to stay protected from vulnerabilities. Google hints at a big AirDrop style expansion for Android very soon. Going to expand its Android file sharing capabilities, making Quick Share feature a more powerful and comparable to Apple's AirDrop.
Hewie, there's an article coming up. I don't know if we'll get it. We talked about last week, AirDrop now will drop from an Apple device, an iPhone, onto a Pixel 10. All right, so you can use AirDrop to drop that now. They're expanding it to the Pixel 9, and soon it will be available to many Android devices.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah, this was a review of the AirTag 2. The big question everybody has, if you have the AirTag 1, first of all, everyone should understand there's two versions of AirTags now, AirTag 1 and AirTag 2. So the question really is, should you, if you have AirTag 1, is there any advantage in upgrading to AirTag 2? And the answer to that, at present, probably not. So there's no real reason to do that. But if you are going to be a first purchaser of this, of AirTags, then you should look for AirTag 2, because there is going to be some future improved in their network, and they'll be able to track a little bit better. So, but at currently, there's no reason to upgrade. This was an interesting article. DJI ℸ𝕝𝕉𝕝, and as you know, I'm really interested in robotic vacuums. One of the big reviewers, Just a Dad, it's called Just a Dad, got one of these devices and tried to review it, but he couldn't get it going because, of course, it's not made for North America. They're not in North America, and they have no plans on introducing it. So he couldn't actually do any testing. But the article is about, these are sold all over the world, is about the poor security, and apparently someone hacked in to the security on these and had all the robots all over the world running around doing some pretty bizarre things. So it's surprising for DJI, of course, which has the Osmo cameras and of course the drones, all the drones. You would think they would be right on top of their security. Anyway, not a North American story, but I thought it was interesting because you can imagine all the robots all over the world turned on, they're running around cleaning houses. I think this is going to be great. Apple is testing a clamshell foldable iPhone. I think that would be a hot seller. I think that Samsung already has proved that this type of phone, Ray Baxter used to have one. He was on our show for many years. He had a Samsung flip phone, and he really liked it, the clamshell type phone. So I think that'd be a big seller. This was an article from the Super Bowl, actually. Now, this is a U.S. story, and I'm not quite sure what Flock is. Have you guys heard of Flock? Did you? Flock is a security facial ID system that is, and the story is that there was a Ring decided to partner with Flock, which of course captures your facial identity, and it does image recognition, and this was going to help people find the bad guys. But of course that meant all your data was going to be set to this third party, and this was their big ad on Super Bowl, and this created a massive backlash on Ring for a variety of reasons. And people didn't want their personal information given to a third party, so that deal got canceled. So for all of you who have got your Ring doorbells in the mail, sending them back, hold off. It's canceled.
This is important. Tech companies are heavily promoting NPUs, or the neural processing units, as essential for AI tasks. But GPUs, or graphic processing units, are often remain more powerful, flexible, and capable for most real-world AI loads. Don't ignore your TV's USB support. A lot of us may not realize that there are USB ports in the back of your TV, and they can do much more than play media files, including powering streaming devices, updating firmware, and connecting accessories like keyboards and external storage. ChatGPT versus Gemini versus Claude, best uses in 2026. They each offer unique strengths with differences in accuracy, reasoning ability, integrations, and creative capabilities depending upon the task. The best choice depends on the user's needs, whether for coding, writing, research, or general productivity. And this article goes in to say which one's best for each one.
This is interesting, although I'm not sure how practical, but Google Docs is rolling out Gemini-powered audio summaries. So you can now create an audio summary of your documents. So what do you guys think that is? It's a rock, right?
Okay, yeah.
It's a rock. So what, now I'm going to tell you guys that that is a rock from the Roman era.
Well, it's
okay?
obviously the early stage plans for the space shuttle.
Well, so it's a rock. And so the question is, what was that rock used for in the Roman era? And they put AI to work to figure it out. And they did figure it out, and it was used as a game. This was actually a game instead of playing Monopoly and all those sort of things. This is a game the Romans used. It was in the whole idea of what the game was. You can read in the article, but AI figured out what this was used for. Now, our next segment, we're going to get Marie's going to talk about genealogy. Just remind everybody that, of course, we have all Marie's videos on our website, and you can just go there and click the tab at the top, and you'll be able to follow and see all the videos. He's getting quite a repertoire there. So let's see what he has to say today.
We often think of genealogy as a modern hobby, but the drive to record our begats is almost as old as civilization itself. For millennia, humans have been obsessed with documenting where they came from. We see this in the cuneiform clay tablets of ancient Babylon and the intricate hieroglyphics on Egyptian papyrus. We find it in the sacred Hebrew rolls, which were likely sheepskin originally, preserving lineage through centuries of displacement. Even up to the modern era, the humble pen and paper remained the gold standard. Whether it was a tattered notebook, binders on a shelf, the family Bible, we have always found a way to leave a trail for those who follow. Now, pen and paper still work. If you love your spiral notebooks and 3-ring binders, filing cabinets with folders, there's no law saying you have to stop. But this is Tech for Seniors. And to understand where we're going, we have to look at the fascinating, often overlooked history of how we taught machines to remember for us. I'll start in the 9th century with the Banu Musu brothers. I'll admit, I've never heard of them before. Have you? They were brilliant engineers in the Baghdad House of Wisdom. Around 850 AD, they invented an automatic music machine, a flute player programmed by a revolving cylinder, and this was driven by water wheels. They even gave us the crankshaft and the basic float valve mechanism that still runs your toilet tank today. This idea of programming evolved into the jacquard loom in 1804 using punch cards to weave silk, and eventually to the music boxes and player pianos many of us remember. We loved our player piano at home. We had hundreds of rolls ranging from the classics to the full music of The Sound of Music and The Fiddler of the Roof. There were musical instruments that were self-programming, including carillons and music boxes that had changeable discs, much like the record players of the 20th century. By the 19th century, Charles Babbage, often called the father of computers, conceived the analytical engine. But it was Lady Ada Lovelace, the mother of programming, who realized that these machines could do more than just crunch numbers. They could follow logic. And today they do AI. In the world of genealogy, this collided with the 1890 U.S. Census. Herman Hollerith used punch cards to compile the data, a system that birthed the company we now know as IBM, and those Hollerith cards became the IBM punch cards. By the late 70s and early 80s, the world changed again when spreadsheets like VisiCalc, introduced by Apple, and Lotus 123 came about. Even the LDS Church, which had been using millions of index cards and microfiche, saw the potential, leading to the creation of PATH, the personal ancestral file, which truly brought digital genealogy to the masses. Now, while PATH is no longer supported, many genealogists started with that as their first digital program. Just to illustrate three pillars of that transition: the Babbage analytical engine, the McBee manual sorting system, and the Apple running VisiCalc. You may have seen things like the McBee manual sorting system in libraries in the 40s and 50s. I remember this era well. The Commodore 64, released in 1982, actually had a very serviceable spreadsheet. That was my fourth home computer. I started with single board devices made by Sinclair and TI, Texas Instruments, then moved to the VIC-20, which was the best birthday gift I ever got from my teenage sons. They saved up their money for it. When the Commodore 64 came out in August 1982, the store that sold the VIC-20 to my sons gave me a full $400 credit for my VIC-20 toward the $800 price tag. Of course, back then, if you didn't have an Apple or a Commodore, you might have had a Radio Shack TRS-80, though we computer snobs deridingly called it the Trash 80. Fast forward to today, and we have a massive ecosystem of software. This covers the heavy hitters. You might see the program you're currently using on this screen right now. But here is a crucial warning. Software can die. The names highlighted in red are obsolete. They are no longer supported, which means they are essentially dead. If you are using one of these, your data is at risk. You need to migrate to a modern platform as soon as possible, ideally by creating a GEDCOM file, which is the universal language of genealogy. Two of these programs are a little bit different. The Master Genealogist, TMG, is technically unsupported by its developer, but it has such a dedicated community of users that it's still safe for now. And the spreadsheets, well, they're great for research notes, but they are not family trees, although some people did create family trees on them. They lack standards and GEDCOM support, making migration a cut and paste nightmare. It's painful, but moving to a real genealogy program is worth the effort. Let's look at that list again with some new colors. Red is still dead. Blue represents our spreadsheets, but now look at the green versus purple. Green represents web-centric programs, things that live in the cloud. Purple represents local programs, software that lives on your computer. My professional advice: your primary reference version of your tree should always be a purple program. Use the green ones like Ancestry for DNA matching and finding new cousins, but keep your master record on your own machine. And remember, even if you are in the purple, make sure that you're on a current version. For example, if you're using RootsMagic 7 or earlier, it's time to upgrade to version 11. So why am I so insistent that your primary tree stays on your own device rather than just online? First, ownership and control. When your tree is only online, you are essentially renting your own history. If a website changes its terms, raises its prices, or goes out of business, your years of hard work could be locked behind a paywall or vanish entirely. Privacy. Not everyone wants their family's private notes or photos of living relatives searchable by the world. Desktop software lets you decide exactly what to share and what to keep private. No internet, no problems. With desktop software, you can work on your genealogy at a library, a cemetery, or on a plane without needing a Wi-Fi connection. And fourth, superior tools. Now, while websites are getting better, and they do have great tools for DNA, desktop programs still offer much more powerful reporting, better source citation management, and more advanced tools for cleaning your data. When you are ready to choose your home-based software, it really comes to 3 deciding factors, which I've summarized here. First, which computer do you use? If you are strictly a Windows user, Legacy Family Tree is a powerhouse for research and reporting. For the Mac purists, Reunion is the gold standard. It's built specifically for the Apple interface. Mac Family Tree is also excellent, especially if you want a companion to modify your tree on your iPhone or iPad. If you want a program that doesn't care what you use, Windows, Mac, or even Linux, Free Gramps or even ℎ𝕬𝕝 via Wine are your go-to options. Next, how important are syncing and web hints? This is where the big 3 databases come in. If you do most of your searching on Ancestry.com, Family Tree Maker or ℎ𝕬𝕝 are your best bets for syncing. If MyHeritage is your primary resource, Legacy Family Tree is now owned by them and offers excellent integration, as does ℎ𝕬𝕝. These programs give you those powerhouse hints that search millions of records for you. If you rely on family search, look toward ℎ𝕬𝕝, Ancestor Quest, or Legacy to keep your local data and the global tree in harmony. Third, how important is modifying your data on a mobile device? This is the most limited area. Most mobile apps are just viewers. If you want to actually edit your information while you're out in the field, then you have a few choices. In the Android and Chromebook world, GEDKeeper is your best choice. It's free, and because it works directly on your universal GEDCOM file, your data is never trapped. It is also available for Windows, Mac, and Linux desktops and laptops. For iPhones and iPads, Mobile Family Tree is the most robust option. It's full-featured program on your tablet that syncs perfectly with its desktop version. Ultimately, the best software is the one that fits your specific hardware and research style. I recommend trying the free essentials or trial versions of a few of these to see which one feels most comfortable before you move your entire family history into it. When you find one you like, wait for RootsTech in March or Mother's Day when there are likely to be special sale prices. Thank you for attending. I hope you found something to help you on your quest to find your ancestors or distant cousins, and that you learned something new in the history lesson. Have a good week, and to quote Jeff Rasmussen of Legacy Family Tree Webinars, life is short, do genealogy first. See you next time.
So I was just reading a news article this morning in Google News. Have you ever had this problem? You're reading the article here, coffee or tea a day might keep dementia away. That's a good idea. You go to look at the article and you have to subscribe. So let me show you something interesting here. I just copied the top part of the article. I come over to ChatGPT and drop it in the top here. And I said, can you find the article? So then it finds a number of articles about the relationship between caffeine and dementia. But the specific one that I'm looking for is the recent one. And this was a scientific peer-reviewed article from JAMA, which is Journal of American Medical Association. Now, the key takeaway from the study was moderate caffeinated coffee intake is associated with dementia risk reduction. So I asked it to summarize the article, and what the study found. So it reviewed the study and gave me a summary and found that what it means is this study observed an association between caffeinated beverage intake and later brain life health, but did not prove specifically that coffee or tea causes the risk to go down. Other lifestyle, dietary, and health factors may also contribute to this. So that's a quick way of getting a summary of a problem that I couldn't get the information on the original news article. It's Ron Brown with Tech for Senior. You know, a couple of weeks ago on our show, I was going on and on about how all day long I use ChatGPT. I ask it all sorts of questions. It gives me answers. And this is not just related to technology stuff around the show. This often has to do with shopping, cooking, or activities, just daily activities I do. Anyway, we had this viewer who said, would you mind telling us what those are all about? Because I have no idea why I would ever want to use AI. I thought that was a good idea. So today I'm going to go through and I'm going to just go down my ChatGPT list here, and I'm just going to go through some of the things I use it for on a daily basis. Now, again, you could do this with Copilot, Gemini, you could use Perplexity, or even Miss A. It doesn't really matter what you use, they will all do this. But what I wanted to do is give you a bit of a different perspective on things that you can use AI for that maybe you just had no idea that it would work. So anyway, the first example I gave you was just finding news. I'm always reviewing the news each day, and sometimes it's really powerful and so simple to get further information on a complicated topic. So that was the first one. So let's have a look at some of the list here that I have, and we'll go over that. I'm just going to pick out a few, and sometimes the results are good. Sometimes I'm going to show you where it wasn't so good. Anyway, let's have a look at this and see where we go. All right, so we're now back in ChatGPT. If you come over on the left-hand side here, you'll see it says My Chats. I've got thousands of these. We're just going to scroll down, and I'm just going to pick out ones that I think you might be interested in. I do a lot of technical analysis too, but I'm just going to pick out stuff that's sort of you might be interested in. So as I come down here, let's do the Edge shaving gel prices. So if you aren't using ChatGPT or AI for shopping, then you really should be, because you're missing out on a lot. So here's what happens. I went to Costco yesterday, and guess what? They didn't have my Edge shaving gel. So I thought, rats. So now I've got to decide, what am I going to do? Well, I thought I could certainly go around town and drive to all the different places and try and find some. Or you could look on Amazon and just have it delivered. So I'm wondering really what is the price of this, and how much more is it going to cost me to get it on Amazon? The beauty of ChatGPT is not only would it analyze all the online services, but it goes around to your local services, local shops, and finds out what all the prices are, and it'll compare it all for you. So if you look here I asked the question what the prices were, and it gave me all the prices, and it even compared to in-store flyers in my local area and came up with a pretty good assessment. And Amazon was just as cheap as any, so I just ordered it on Amazon. So there you go. In a few seconds, Costco didn't have it, so I come home, I quickly do a search. Cheapest is Amazon, just order it on Amazon. Okay, let's move down the list here. We'll go from shaving gel to movies. So part of course, the Academy Awards are coming up. My wife and I are trying to watch all the Academy Award-winning movies in preparation. So last night we watched, oh boy, Sinners. Well, it's a movie about vampires. It's definitely a movie that needs some thought about. Anyway, after we watched the movie, I thought, is this based on a true story? Because you watch the movie and you think, this has got to be a famous musician, or there's something here. Is this a true story? So, we followed that up. I go over to ChatGPT and said, So I said, I just watched this. I just watched the movie Sinners and am confused. Is this a true story? Well, it says, to be fair, it says, totally fair to be confused, and you are not alone. Sinners is not a true story. It's based on real events, it isn't based on real events, real people, or specific historical case. So what's it based on? Anyway, he gives me an analysis here and helps really understand this movie because I clearly didn't get it when I watched it. So that was sort of interesting. I just used that, cleared up a lot of information for me and helped me figure out what I just watched. Cool. So it does a great job helping you with analyzing or figuring out movies. Now I'm ℸ𝕝𝕂𝕃 bok choy. I really love bok choy as a vegetable. I've found all sorts of interesting things I can do with it. So I often serve it as a side. And so I thought, well, what are other things that I could do with it? And again, just click here, and it brought up all sorts of things that I can do with baby bok choy. So one of the main things I use ChatGPT for, other than, of course, technical stuff, is I use it for recipes. It's great. It brings up the recipes. It can alter them. You know, there's just Gail and I here for the two of us. So a lot of the recipes you find are for 4 or 6. So it easily modifies them and will make it for 2. So it gives me some great ideas. So if you are into some sort of favorite recipe that you have, you can get all sorts of tips on how to prepare it, and it's really pretty simple. Plus, remember, ChatGPT is learning from your experience and knows who you are in the area you're in, so it'll be able to make appropriate recommendations for all those features. Great, so let's keep going. All right, let's come down and see what we've got here. Oh, this is great. The roasting 2 chickens. You gotta love this one. So last Sunday, I had some people over for dinner and I wanted to roast a chicken. And I got a fairly big chicken, around 7 or 8 pound chicken, nice size, but I wasn't quite sure if it was going to be enough. So I had another like 2.5 pound chicken in my freezer. So I pulled it out and I wanted to put them both in the roasting pan. One's a little chicken, one's a big chicken. I wanted to roast this and have roast chicken for dinner, but I didn't want to have 2 pans to deal with. So I wondered, what would happen if you put them both in the pan and roasted them? Obviously the smaller one would cook more than the larger one, right? So I said let's just see what ChatGPT says. And I asked it, what would you do? How would you do that? And so bottom line is the short answer: don't cook them to the one big one and hope for the best. So they basically, in summary, it said don't do that because the little one's going to get dried out and it's not going to be very good. So I thought about this for a while and I thought, I don't think so. So I put them both in the pan, I put it on the oven on for 375, and I roasted it for the usual amount of time until the largest one, the internal temperature was 175. And the little one, of course, was higher. It was around 210. But the little one was just as moist and just as perfect as the larger one. I think it made little difference. I mean, there's so much fat in chicken. I think you'd have to cook it for hours and hours before you ever dried it out. So it worked out just fine. The dinner went along just fine, and I had great chicken. So ChatGPT didn't give me the right answer for that one. Well, let's come down. Oh, here's another good one. Let's look at this. Cancel PayPal payment. Have you ever so what I was trying to do is stop an automatic payment for a subscription out of PayPal. And do you think I could figure out how to do that? So I asked ChatGPT, and it gave me step-by-step ways to automatically cancel payments in PayPal. Now, this is something I use ChatGPT all the time for, is asking it how to do things with certain sites, and you can't know it all. And I'm sure you, as you go through the day and you're surfing the web and doing things, you say, well, how do I do that? Well, the easiest way is to ask ChatGPT and I'll tell you exactly how to do it. It's so simple. It's like having a tech support person right next to you. All right, so the last one I want to talk about today as we come down the list is B&B near Queen's Park, BC. So one of the things you should be using ChatGPT for is travel planning. It is so good for finding resources wherever you're going in any part of the world. It'll look it up for you and give you a good assessment of what you want. Now, in my particular case, I've got a wedding to go to in July, so I have to go over to Vancouver, and I was looking for a bed and breakfast near Queen's Park in New Westminster. So I just asked it for, I'm looking for a bed and breakfast in Queen's Park, New Westminster, and of course it gives you all the assessment of all where it even puts maps in and shows you where they all are, give you prices and links to that. So if you are planning a trip and you want to find out you could use it for accommodation, you could use it for restaurants, meals, anything you want to do, you could do that. And it's a quick way of giving a good assessment of the area and helping you find what you want. So using AI for travel planning is a big benefit. All right, those are some of the things that I use AI for. Those are just a few that I've selected out of the thousands of my chats that I've used. Now, I use ChatGPT, but for sure, you could use whatever you want. Whatever your favorite AI is, you can certainly use that, and you'll get good results as well. In fact, you can use Miss A and any of your Amazon devices as well. All these give you really good information and very quickly. So I would encourage you, if you are one of the people who are nervous about AI, you just don't understand, or you're a bit worried, or couldn't think about why you might even want to use it, look at some of these examples I gave you today. These are just average, common, everyday things I use it for, and it's really helpful. It makes my life a lot easier. All right, till we see you again, it's Ron Brown with Tech for Senior. Have a great day. Okay, Hewie, you're up.
Secure Boot is an important security feature that helps protect your computer from malware and other threats. It's a technology built into the hardware and software of modern computers to ensure only trusted software can start up. This helps prevent unauthorized or malicious code from running when your computer boots up. In 2026, there will be an important update to Secure Boot that every computer user needs to be aware of. This update will help keep your computer even more secure against the latest cyber threats. I'll cover the key things you need to know about Secure Boot and the 2026 update, including simple steps you can take to stay protected. I'm Hewie Poplock. Secure Boot has been a core security feature in Windows for over 10 years. It helps protect computers by ensuring only trusted software can run during the boot process. This prevents malware from loading and taking control of the system. Understanding how Secure Boot works is important to appreciate the upcoming changes in 2026. Knowing how Secure Boot functions will help you take the right steps to keep your computer secure. Secure Boot is a security feature built into your PC's UEFI firmware that activates before Windows starts loading. It acts as a security guard, checking the digital signatures of software to ensure only trusted, approved programs can run during startup. This blocks malicious software like rootkits that try to attack the PC before Windows loads, making them invisible to antivirus. Secure Boot is an important protection against sophisticated threats that target the startup process. It's a critical security measure to safeguard your PC from malware that could otherwise gain a foothold before your OS even starts. Secure Boot is a critical security feature that protects your computer right from the start. It stands guard at the most vulnerable moment when your computer is booting up. This is when sophisticated malware can try to hide and take control before your antivirus software can detect it. Secure Boot helps keep your personal data, passwords, and financial information safe from hackers targeting the startup process. It's been a key part of Windows security since 2011, protecting millions of computers worldwide. This deep, proven protection is your first line of defense against the most dangerous cyber threats. Secure Boot is a critical security technology that runs behind the scenes every time you power on your PC. It verifies that all the software and components loading during the boot process are legitimate and safe before Windows starts up. This helps protect against malware and other threats trying to infiltrate your system during that vulnerable boot phase. The glowing padlock symbol on the screen represents how Secure Boot acts as the first line of defense for your computer's security. Secure Boot is an important safeguard that works silently to keep your system protected, even before the operating system fully loads. In June 2026, an important update is coming to how Secure Boot verifies trusted software. This is a routine security refresh, not a crisis, but it does require attention from computer users. Secure Boot is a security feature that ensures only trusted software can boot on a device. The certificates used to verify trusted software will be expiring in 2026. This means devices will need to be updated to use new, valid certificates to continue verifying software. Users will need to make sure their devices are updated to the latest version to maintain Secure Boot protections. Failing to update could mean Secure Boot stops working properly and untrusted software could boot on the device. It's important to stay on top of this change to keep devices secure. The original Secure Boot certificates that have been installed on computers since 2011 will expire in June 2026. These certificates are like digital trust badges or electronic signatures that verify software authenticity, similar to how a passport proves your identity. When these certificates expire, your PC won't be able to verify new trusted software updates at boot time, meaning the security check that happens when your computer starts won't work properly for newer software updates. The expiration date has been planned for years to ensure the security system stays current with modern threats. It's important to understand what these certificates are and how their expiration will impact your computer's security in 2026. Cryptographic security technology is constantly evolving, and what was secure in the past may not be sufficient to protect against today's sophisticated threats. Refreshing digital certificates is a standard practice across various systems, from websites to banking apps, to ensure ongoing security. Microsoft and hardware manufacturers are coordinating a large-scale, synchronized effort to replace old certificates across millions of devices to maintain robust security. This coordinated update is crucial to ensure that all systems are protected against the latest security vulnerabilities and threats. This is the core of our presentation, the key steps seniors need to take. The good news is that for most people, this process is straightforward and requires minimal effort. I'll walk through the simple but essential actions seniors need to take. The technical details are important, but what really matters is understanding these core steps. By the end of this section, you'll know exactly what you need to do. The main message is that your PC will continue to function normally after June 2026, even though the operating system's startup security will gradually weaken over time. Explain that this is similar to an expired inspection sticker on a car. The car still runs, but it's not meeting current safety standards. Note that this weakening could lead to increased vulnerability to boot-level malware and potential compatibility issues with future security updates and new software installations. Emphasize that there's no need to panic, as the computer will still boot up and run normally, but highlight the importance of taking steps to address the security concerns before they become a problem. Windows updates are critical to keep your PC secure and up to date. Most modern PCs have Windows updates enabled by default, so this is usually just a matter of keeping them turned on. However, it's also important to check with your PC manufacturer's website for any specific firmware or BIOS updates needed before June 2026. If you have an older PC or use specialized devices, be sure to consult with a trusted tech helper or the manufacturer to ensure a smooth update process. The goal is to make this transition as seamless as possible for all users, regardless of technical skill level. Windows 10 computers will automatically receive the new Secure Boot certificates through regular Windows updates. This happens in the background, just like other security patches you're used to. However, once Microsoft ends mainstream support for Windows 10 in October 2025, older unsupported versions won't get these updates unless you're enrolled in the Extended Security Updates program. After 2025, you'll need to either upgrade to Windows 11 if your hardware supports it, or sign up for the Extended Support program to continue receiving security updates. The key is to plan ahead so your Windows 10 system remains secure after Microsoft ends mainstream support. The 2026 certificate update is an important security milestone, but good security habits will serve you well for years to come. In this chapter, we'll review the best practices that will keep your PC protected long after this particular update is complete. Maintaining a secure computer requires more than just updating certificates. It's about developing good security habits that you can rely on in the long term. We'll cover the key steps you should take to keep your system secure, from using strong passwords to keeping your software up to date. By the end of this chapter, you'll have a solid understanding of the security fundamentals that will serve you well beyond 2026. Keeping your PC secure is an ongoing process, not a one-time task. Regular Windows and firmware updates are crucial to patch security vulnerabilities and maintain system stability. Secure Boot is a critical security feature that protects your PC from boot-level attacks. It's important to keep it enabled. Using trusted antivirus software and being cautious with downloads, emails, and links is essential to avoid malware and other threats. Remind the audience to never click on suspicious links or download files from unknown sources. Secure Boot is a critical protection for your PC, defending against hidden malware that tries to attack before Windows even loads. The 2026 certificate update is a routine but vital security refresh to keep this protection strong over time. By keeping your PC updated, you ensure it stays protected and runs smoothly for years to come. If you need help with updates, don't hesitate to ask a trusted friend, family member, or tech support resource. Many options are available. The key is to keep Windows Update enabled and install updates when prompted. The technology works for you to protect your digital life.
There you go.
Excellent, excellent. Hewie, we've already got a question. If you could put the link to, you're going to upload that on your own site.
It's already there, and I will get the
Put
link
the
and
link,
post
just
it.
put,
Yeah.
maybe post a link. Yeah, that'd be great.
Yep.
Okay, take it away, Mike Leaman.
Okay, so today's entertainment corner is a little different. Rather than just me boringly read the information that's going to be in the newsletter tomorrow, I sucked it into Notebook LM and created a video. So what I normally would read at this point will be available in the newsletter that goes out tomorrow. However, the same information is in this video, which we're going to play now. Then I'll come back after the video with the links for this week's trailer and the movie selection. So Ron, if you'll play the video.
You know, some dates on the calendar just feel bigger, right? Days where it seems like a ton of important stuff just happened to line up. Well, today we're going to dive deep into one of them, February 16th. It's a day that, as you'll see, has seriously punched above its weight in shaping the world of entertainment.
So let me ask you this. What in the world do the most legendary band of all time, a revolutionary superhero movie and a mischievous, spiky-haired cartoon kid possibly have in common? It sounds like the setup to a weird joke, but the answer is pretty fascinating. Yep, that's the connection. All three had a massive, game-changing moment on this one single day. It's almost like February 16th is a secret launch pad for cultural icons.
Okay, so here's how we're going to break it all down. We'll start with how some rock and roll royalty got their crowns. Then we'll check out the soundtrack of an era. We'll see its impact on the big screen, meet the stars behind the hits, and I'll even throw in a recommendation for a modern-day underdog.
First up, let's rewind the clock to the 50s and 60s. This was a time when popular music was basically being reinvented. And on this very day, two of the absolute biggest names in history had moments that would lock in their legendary status for good.
70 million. Just think about that number for a second. This was only a week after they first landed in America. The Beatles went live from Miami Beach, and a massive chunk of the entire country tuned in to watch. This wasn't just another TV gig. It was proof that Beatlemania was an absolute cultural tidal wave.
And here's what's so cool. You see two completely different roads to the top on the exact same date. 8 years before the Beatles basically took over television, Elvis Presley gets his very first gold record for Heartbreak Hotel. So for Elvis, the proof was in the sales. For the Beatles, it was in the broadcast. Two different methods, same result. Music royalty.
All right, let's keep going, because February 16th wasn't just about who was performing live. It was also a huge day for creating magic in the studio and for some really surprising songs to hit #1.
Get this. In 1966, this is the day Brian Wilson from the Beach Boys walked into a studio and started working on what he called his pocket symphony, the song Good Vibrations. The ambition, the layers, the sheer complexity of it, it completely changed what people thought a 3-minute pop song could be. A total game changer.
And look at this lineup. It's all over the map in the best way possible. You've got Bob Dylan finally hitting #1 with an album, the incredible voice of Linda Ronstadt owning the singles chart, the pure pop fun of Wham taking over, and then, yeah, you're reading that right, The Simpsons had a #1 hit song in the UK. How wild is that? Meanwhile, on the other side of the planet, Led Zeppelin was kicking off their one and only Australian tour in 1972. And they were apparently so unbelievably loud that people were calling in noise complaints from miles away. I mean, that's not just a rock show, that's a geological event. Okay, let's switch gears from the recording studio to the movie theater. Because as it turns out, this date was just as important for cinema, marking everything from the quiet start of a master filmmaker to the deafening roar of a cultural giant arriving.
I love this comparison because it shows how impact can happen in totally different ways. On one hand, you have 1957, with the quiet debut of director Robert Altman, a guy who would go on to be an absolute legend. And on the other, you have 2018, and the ground-shaking arrival of Black Panther, a movie that didn't just open, it erupted and changed everything overnight.
Of course, behind every single one of these moments, there are the artists, the people who made it all happen. So now let's take a look at the incredible talents who were born and who we lost on February 16th. What a list! You've got Otis Blackwell, the songwriting genius who penned huge hits for Elvis like Don't Be Cruel. You've got pop culture mainstays like Sonny Bono and Andy Taylor from Duran Duran. And then you have artists who define totally different eras, from the legendary rapper and actor Ice-T to a global pop superstar, The Weeknd.
And on this day, in 2015, we also sadly lost Leslie Gore. She was the voice behind that iconic 1963 anthem, It's My Party. It's one of those songs that perfectly captured a feeling, that mix of teenage sadness and defiance, and it is still an absolute classic.
So after going through all of these amazing historical breakthroughs, I've got a recommendation that I think captures that same spirit perfectly. And then we'll wrap it all up with one final thought. Our pick is the movie Eddie the Eagle. It's this fantastic, feel-good story about a totally unlikely British ski jumper who somehow makes it to the Olympics. It's all about that underdog spirit, about having a dream and going for it, which just feels right for a day that's all about breakthroughs. It's a really great watch, and you can find it streaming on Tubi and Prime Video.
So, what's the big takeaway here? From gold records to global phenomena, February 16th is a great reminder that history isn't just something that happened a long time ago. It's being made right now, all around us, which kind of leaves us with one last question to think about. What's happening today that we'll all be looking back on 50 years from now?
All right.
So
Mike?
that's the presentation today, and I'd like your comments if you enjoyed that format. The printed format will be in the newsletter tomorrow, and I'm going to introduce now the two clips. Our movie clip, like was mentioned, is Eddie the Eagle, and that's in tribute to the Olympics. And of course, you probably remember the 1988 Calgary Olympics, where Eddie the Eagle made his debut, and it was also the debut of the Jamaican bobsled team. So a couple of unique characteristics for the Winter Olympics. Our musical selection today is Leslie Gore and It's My Party. So I'll post those in here, and Ron can play the two clips for you. And that's this week's Entertainment Corner.
Well done, well done, Mike. Well done. Well done. Excellent choice. All right. Well, that was a busy show today. Just a reminder, if you have to take off, don't forget we have our premiere video online now. It's a Smartwatch in Your Heart by myself. Hewie's going to talk about Google Drive, Dropbox, or OneDrive, which is best. And I'm going to talk about, if you're confused, what Google TV is, what it's all about, and that's playing now on our Premier Education. I put the link in the chat for you. All right. Well, that's any questions, Hewie? Are you exhausted now? That was a busy day.
Yes.
So
yeah, I'm in the process of uploading a whole bunch of videos that I have neglected getting up, either for me or for the Stug YouTube channel. So, James, in answer to your question, I don't know if you saw it in the chat, I'll have it up. It's all ready to go. I thought I had uploaded it and I just didn't. So it will be there.
And please use AI to help you through struggling through the trials and tribulations of your day as you go through watching weird movies, trying to buy things. Just life's daily chores can be tough. And so use AI to make it easier for you. I sure do.
Our Monday show is recorded live and available on the Tech for Senior YouTube channel later in the day and includes tech news of the week, computer skills, photography, genealogy, and selections of music and videos. Join us in person for our 7th year of fun with technology.